Hey y'all, I'm back with another Cephalid Breakfast video. If you saw my last video with Demir Tempo and were thinking, my god, this guy has fallen so far, well, I am back to play old trusty Cephalid Breakfast, except for the fact that it is now a very different deck after the Nadu ban. This is Larsson's 5-0 list from immediately after the ban. It looks a lot like how Cephalid Breakfast looked before Nadu was printed, with the exception of Tamiyo now being a card that you can play as a 4 of. And, you know, the Tamiyo strategy is a really nice secondary angle compared to the typical breakfast combo. And Stoneforge Mystic is basically taking the place of Nadu, which to me is extremely underwhelming, to be totally honest. But Stoneforge is a very classic Magic card. There's a Cauldra. It can also get the Shuko. There's also going to be some black mana, which will help to cast Dread Return, help to cast Cabal Therapy. And now with Memory's Journey gone, Cabal Therapy, the more classic graveyard milling interaction piece is back. And that does create a few differences. Like if you have a Thassa's Oracle Dread Return in hand, you can Cabal Therapy that targeting yourself and get that into the graveyard. If you are worried about some interaction from your opponent, you can Cabal Therapy that. And if you hit Cabal Therapy early enough, you can do that potentially before you mill over your whole deck. A bit of a tragic inclusion as well, as you now need 3 Narcomoeba to support the Cabal Therapy. So thankfully, like, it means you can be a little bit more, you don't have to be as strict about keeping Narcomoeba around. Like, if you draw one, it's not as bad. If you pitch one to Force of Will or play it out, it's not as bad. But it just, you know, Narcomoeba is probably the worst card in the deck, and so having another one of them is definitely a downgrade. Sideboard looks very different. Lavinia is pretty cool. I could see this card coming in handy versus the Mystic Forge decks and various combo strategies, or as just a way to keep, you know, the control player off your back with their Force of Wills. It's definitely a very different list from a week ago, back when Nadu was legal, but it's pretty cool. It's a return to classic Cephalid Breakfast, and I hope that it does me well in this league. All right, I'm on the play for match number 1. Yeah, this has both combo pieces. This Brainstorm is going to have to do some heavy lifting. I can fetch a Surveil land. I'll keep. The mana situation is the most dubious part about this hand. So sadly, I can't afford to go Tundra Nomads, as a Wasteland would simply devastate what I have going on. And my opponent does have some turn 1 action. Basic Island. Tamiyo. Okay. So it's tough to say what my opponent is up to. Could be the mirror. But I think I need to try pretty hard to hit another land here. So I'm going to get Meticulous Archive. Surveil Cabal Therapy into the yard. Good value there. Force of Will is nice, but I'm really looking for a land here. Uh-oh. Well, it feels like the game is probably over at this point. I'll put back the combo pieces. Brutal. And if they have a Wasteland, I'm just super dead. I may even have to force a Brainstorm here. Yeah, I'm gonna force this. I can't let the Tamiyo flip while I'm stumbling over mana, and I need to answer the Tamiyo. They force back. I suppose there's vaguely reason to keep playing. Watching them fetch this land here and seeing what other color they might have is worth it enough, so. Kind of stinks though, having to feel like you're playing basically just for information and not for feeling like you have much of a chance. I'm just going to play out the Nomads. Next turn I can cast Tamiyo and sack it. to cast Cabal Therapy, except I might need to Cabal Therapy the Oracle Bat. Yeah, this is just really rough here. Okay, they're getting back Force of Will. Means they're probably about to remove my nomads or put something in the way of it. Okay, it's the mirror. And presumably I'm dead. Yeah, that's fine. I'll F6, and they'll show me their deck. Alright, my opponent has shown me their whole deck. And they have the Thassa's Oracle in the yard and the Dread Return. Their list has Voice of Victory and Dazes. So this is a deck that's much more combo-centric. Doesn't look like they have any Stoneforge Mystic. So I think I need to respect the graveyard pretty hard out of them. These cards seem good. Lavinia seems good. Removal seems good. And since they have Voice of Victory, I'll take out the basic planes. I'm not really sure how to sideboard for everything now. I'll bring in a Flusterstorm, potentially, if I can find room for it. I think I'll just take out the forces. A couple ponders. So my combo's fully intact. I have a lot of removal for their stuff. See how it goes. Alright, I'm on the play. Gotta mulligan this. Alright, this hand looks pretty good. I'll bottom the Surveil land. And I just have to hope they don't have a super fast combo because I don't really have any interaction. I'm hoping that they're going to be keeping an interactive hand on the draw. It's like a prismatic ending. Sure, I'm really glad to see Tamiyo catch a removal spell when I have another Tamiyo in hand. And a Swords gives me a really good reason to just go Tamiyo here. Or rather, Misty Rainforest as opposed to Urza Saga. Be interesting to see how they play this turn. Does appear that they are going to tap out. Maybe they're just casting. Nope. I was thinking maybe they would cast Cabal Therapy. Voice of Victory, sure. So it's kind of unfortunate. It definitely means I'm priced into swordsing this. Get Meticulous. Yeah. Keep that. I'll swords this now. And I have access to the combo. Now, if they can combo me, that would mean 3 out of the 4 cards in their hand would have to be specific things. Combo pieces and a land. Or obviously, you know, they have a draw step coming. But let's see. I could have gone for the combo there and just tried to win. Yeah, to me this means they are trying to see if the coast is clear to win the game. Which is unfortunate. Surgical is such an awkward card too because you can, like with Cabal Therapy, if the Oracle is already in hand or Oracle already in graveyard or Dread Return already in graveyard, it's so easy to just, well, there's the land. Am I dead? Okay, I'm not dead. Suppose I could have drawn a card in response to the Tamiyo. But yeah, to complete my thought, surgical, like often Cabal Therapy is not good enough against surgical extraction. Okay. So I could ending this. They clearly don't have the combo. I'll start by going to combat. I could also just go for the combo here. They could have a second surgical extraction. I don't know. I think I'm going to go for it. Just feels too dangerous to pass the turn back to them. Okay, something's happening here. Hardcast days, sure. Well, I'm a bit ahead in the Tamiyo race, so it's not bad. If I draw a land, I can make a construct next turn. Sure. They crack their clue and they're on main phase, trying to hit a land or something. Alright, I think I just have to make the construct preserve these cards in hand, and then I can get Soul Guide Lantern, and that'll insulate me pretty well from their combo. And I'll just hit the swords. So now I'm pushing damage pretty well, and I have a second wave of damage to push in this Stoneforge Mystic. The Tamiyo is good for them, but I can deal with it next turn. And the Urza Saga, I have found, just making constructs with Urza Saga is a good way to keep up with all the material that Tamiyo puts on the board. So I'm not feeling too bad here. If they flip the Tamiyo, it's dead. Okay, cracking the clue. Okay. Well, now I feel like I have to use this turn to ending this and then cast Ponder. Maybe just my own Tamiyo, actually. Okay, they didn't have Brainstorm in response, thankfully. And yeah, I like just casting the Tamiyo, getting back to business here. I could possibly flip it next turn. Okay, they don't know the cards in my hand, so just guessing here, right? Okay, nice to see them having to basically throw away a card as I push closer to this Tamiyo. I don't think I can sack the Soul Guide Lantern to draw a card. I think I have to keep that card in play. They might be sacking this right away. Okay, well that's at least keeping the Soul Guide Lantern relevant here. That's great. Okay, crack a clue. Another nice pickup. Cast Ponder. I've already played a land. I don't think I'm really going for the combo. Shuffle this. Drew an Archamoeba. That's great. Alright, but got the Tamiyo ticking up. Got constructs coming. Soul Guide Lantern bricking their combo. I can also brick the combo with Lavinia if that feels important. Now the Cephalid Illusionist can chump. Okay, that was a good draw for them, or a good card to have. But yeah, the Cephalid can forever block a construct. Okay, definitely gonna make a construct here. Probably just make 2 constructs. They'll be quite large. Yep, combo assembled. But yeah, it just doesn't work like it used to. Oh man. Oh, it's a huge bummer. So I can't crack the Soul Guide. I don't even have Force of Wills in the deck. Oh, dang. Good game. So they just mill out their library and then they have the Oracle right there. And if I sack the Soul Guide Lantern, first of all, I don't even have Force of Wills, but like, if I sack the Soul Guide Lantern, then like draw Force of Will and I force this and then I just dread return it. So rough start. All right, I'm on the play. Pretty sure this opponent plays lands. I'll keep. Oh, I am on the play, so I should probably make a play during my turn rather than just passing here. Flooded Strand. I'm gonna fetch Undercity Sewers. And the reason why I'm doing this is I want the Surveil. I can get all my basics, and this is gonna make them second guess. Unfortunately, binning Tundra will give them some clue. Let's just see here. Wasteland, okay. They might have looked me up and saw my recent Dimir tempo finish. So I'll put this back with the intention of fetching it right away. And I'll go to Plains and just play out Nomads. Got him. Mox Diamond, pretty good. Malevolent Rumble. I'll force. They probably don't have another land. Okay, they did. So crop rotation is live. Would love to brainstorm into force blue Cephalid Illusionist. Because there's no days. Alright. So there's a lot of things that'll be acceptable here. being able to combo with Force of Will next turn is definitely one of them, and it looks like that's what I have here. The other thing would have been a Swords to Plowshares to keep them off Merit Lage, but I'm guessing that they probably have at maximum 1 crop rotation. All right, got the combo. Fetch. Just get a Tundra. Cast Cephalid. And I can answer 1 crop rotation. I'm hoping, though, to hit Narcomoeba plus Cabal Therapy before anything else. Okay, there's 1 Narcomoeba. There's Cabal Therapy, so I have 1 more Narcomoeba in the deck. This was some really lucky milling to get everything in this precise order. Just name crop rotation. Hit 1. Yep. So game is over. And I think my opponent was smart not to cast it because it would not have really done anything. And there's always the chance that I could miss on it. Though, there's no way I was naming anything other than crop rotation. Okay, there's the extra Narcomoeba. Mill the rest of my deck. Now, this is a matchup where I sorely will be missing Nadu. I think that Nadu tipped the scale against lands, and I just remember playing Breakfast pre-Nadu and having quite a tough time with lands. So I want to keep them off of Loam. Surgical, really nice in that respect. All the artifacts. Serenity, possibly. Swords. Force of Negation. Don't want Force of Will. I sort of feel like Stoneforge is going to be tough. Like, it's pretty easy for them to answer a Cauldra, but a Cauldra can also stuff their constructs pretty well. I don't think Orum's Chant is going to be relevant. Yeah, I'm just struggling with cuts here. I don't think I want to cut Ponder. I'm definitely going to have to be able to find my land. I think I will just cut the Stoneforge package. That just seems really underwhelming compared to what they have going on. And I have 1 more cut. I'll cut 1 Cephalid. Try this. Oh, one interesting thing I haven't mentioned before is this list only has 3 nomads in core. So it's kind of interesting. Hopefully I can get the job done with this configuration. All right, this has good enough mana. Force of Negation, Tamiyo I'll keep. Tamiyo feels like the way to go against lands in this current configuration. Yeah, Exploration's fine. Urza Saga immediately. Okay, I like that. I think I like just not letting them have constructs at all. So I'm going to go Basic Island. Needle Saga. Like, if that was their game plan, it's no longer going to work. And then whatever they get off this saga when it goes to Chapter 3 is probably not going to answer Tamiyo. They might be priced into getting Expedition Map, which could, as Caracas, answer Tamiyo. All right, Dark Depths. Wow, good pickup there. So I like playing Tamiyo. I'm definitely going to be fetching basic planes in response to the Saga trigger. If they have like a Disruptor Flute right now, that'd be pretty good. Okay, so they're making Merit Lage right now. But I can answer that, and then they're left with 1 card in hand. This works. 2020. Now with the Avatar token, which is kind of weird. Definitely think that's a huge Magic Online downgrade compared to the classic Noodle Monster. All right, well, their clock is immense. Or rather, their life total is immense, and my clock is nothing right now. And in that regard, I kind of miss Stoneforge. I definitely have no beatdown win plan now. But I can ending whatever, like if they needle Tamiyo, if they get a Grafdigger's Cage or Soul Guide Lantern, I have ending. Force of Negation is going to hit a Loam. I'm drawing cards with Tamiyo. I think I've stabilized here and can probably win with the combo at some point. But with Saga Needled, with Stoneforge out of the deck, the beatdown plan is non-existent. So they get their map. Yeah, they just have to rebuild. They could get like Ghost Quarter, another Saga. Okay, does that mean that you can answer my Boseiju or my Needle? There's the Lantern. Okay, another land. I think I'll do the Surveil land. And then hold up mana, cracking the clue at the end of their turn. I don't think I need another Tamiyo. I could have also flipped Tamiyo there, but I do want to preserve this force blue here with the Ponder. And I can just as easily flip Tamiyo next turn. Okay, they're drawing a card. And they're just scooping it up. Yeah, good games. Seems like that all-in Merit Lage line when I immediately top deck the swords just wasn't going to work out for them. Yeah, I think I'm about to run away with this game even with him at 40 life. So anyway, on to the next. All right, I'm on the draw in match number 3 with a fine hand. I would really like to draw another blue card. My opponent is on a mulligan. This could just be like, if they're on a combo or something, they continue to mull. Could just be like Force of Will, whatever they do. And Stoneforge for the win. Get Cauldra. Okay, opponent's good on 5. Mountain. Painter, maybe? I like starting with Tamiyo. If they Pyroblast, I'll allow it. If they Bolt, I'll allow it. It's fine. Okay, so it looks to be Painter. I think Stoneforge Mystic is going to do a number on this game. Force of Will, pitch Ponder. Chant. Yeah, that's okay. Could matter later. Get Cauldra. Painter Servant, you got the Grindstone? Okay, no Grindstone is good for now, but if they have it next turn, I'm definitely in trouble. Sadly, Memory's Journey would be a much better card in this matchup, because if they had the Grindstone, I would actually just win the game. Go ahead and beat down with this Cauldra. Gotta be careful, it's easy to misclick on Stoneforge. I've already done it once. I don't think I can really afford to Orum's Chant in the blind. Like, I can do that if I have them dead on the following turn. But if they got it here, they just got me. Okay, Goblin Welder, but there's no artifacts in their yard. And swinging in with Painter. Yep, that's all good. Surveil. Tamiyo is too late to matter. I'll start off with the Brainstorm. All right. That feels pretty good. So I'll put back, and Painter is named blue, so everything's a blue card. So there's no way they could kill me next turn. So I don't really need to worry about the Chant. I'll just put those cards back, play out the Sewers, mill over Nomads, play Shuko. Equip the Shuko here. Actually, it's better to equip it to Cauldra since it has Trample. And then I can force whatever play they make. And then the following turn I can Chant. Next turn they're priced into blocking with at least one of these. Okay. No play is interesting. I think I'm just supposed to swing in with these guys. If they block this with Welder, they have to block this. So they would go to 1. I think they would be wise to just block Cauldra with Painter. Okay, they just scoop it up. I think they could do that, and then next turn they get Grindstone off the top or something like that. So maybe they were thinking that the Cauldra would exile, but it actually doesn't exile if this thing dies first. Like, the trigger happens, but it's already in the graveyard. So Cauldra only exiles creatures when they survive the Cauldra hit. All right, this is a scary matchup for sure. I like these cards, these cards. It's nice to be a deck that has a little bit better mana than I used to playing Nadu, because this is definitely going to be a Blood Moon deck. Stoneforge was good there. Yeah, I feel like this is a matchup where Cauldron could be good. I'm pretty weary of trying to win through the graveyard against Painter, but being like a Bant Stoneblade deck against Painter also sounds really rough, and a really bad version of it at that. I'll take out Cabal Therapy, that seems like an obvious cut. I'll go down to like 2 Cephalids. Yeah, I'm actually pretty confused in this one. I'm going to take out this stuff, and I will be the Stoneblade deck that I talked about, and I'll bring in Consign, Fluster, and Forces. No Fluster. And hopefully this is good. Yeah, I'll have to see. Definitely, you can see that when I used to make Nadu breakfast content, I was very tight on all my sideboarding, and I really do prefer to have that mentality when I play. Yeah, I guess I can keep this. The mana is no good, but it's something. Maybe the Force of Negation will be good. Yep, got a welder. Okay. I do think I have to get a Tundra. Drawing Shuko was pretty bad there. Force of Negation is also good with Goblin Welder because if it's like Grindstone or something important, it actually will go to exile. Oof. Yeah, this is pretty bad. If they have Chaos Defiler, this game is just immediately over. Okay. Well, if they're giving me a turn, I could top deck Surgical. If they're letting me ponder, I will do it. No, it really just has to be Surgical. Well, I can reduce the damage here. They'll lose their Painter. I lose my Shuko, but I have another one. But I don't have Cephalid to draw into, which is probably what I would need. Yeah, it's possible I'm just completely botching this game. Well, the game is over if this resolves. I have drawn Pithing Needle. Play Stoneforge. Yes, I'll get Cauldra. Sadly, though, like, they can weld out Cauldra. So, yeah, this is kind of rough. Yep, they're giving me my Shuko back. Casting Phyrexian Dragon Engine is pretty good. Attacking with a 5/4 is pretty good. I don't even think I have anything to find here. I think I will Needle Goblin Welder rather than putting in Cauldra. Well, if I don't put in Cauldra, I'm dead to this beatdown, so yeah, this is just really rough. Okay, they're giving me back my Lantern, which is really good for me, actually. So now I get Cauldra. There's a vague chance I could stabilize here. Okay, yeah, they found the line. I had the Soul Guide Lantern eat the Shuko. I messed up. Yeah, this ETB, I could have gotten that Shuko out, and then it wouldn't have mattered, but I just randomly wasn't thinking and went for their card there. I think on the play, I am more inclined to cut stuff like this and just be the graveyard deck I was born to be. Since I won't have Cabal Therapy, I continue to think that's not going to be the best, so I'll hold off on a Narc Amoeba. Orm's Chant should have been taken out of the deck. That was not a good card to leave in. And then Tameo is still nice, I think. I'll cut the Consigns. And I think this time I will cut Stoneforge. Try this. Yeah, this seems really good. I'll keep. And I'll threaten the turn 2. My island. Hopefully they do something like tap out for Blood Moon. Okay. I'm going to start with a Ponder. See if I can convince them to Pyroblast here. Okay, didn't go for it. I don't want those cards. I'll cast another Ponder. Those will be fine. Again, I just really want to see them tap out, but they're not. I'll play Tamiyo. Okay. So I'll go to combat, hopefully brainstorm into a land. Bolting Tamiyo. That's fine. All right, I can put back these cards. Surgical Lightning Bolt. Okay, I can beat one Pyroblast. Awesome. Gotta love Surgical. Interesting choice to use the guide and preserve the petal. It's probably correct. All right, now I just mill my whole deck and win the game. So that is a nice angle of this deck, is with between the surgical, sweet, good games. Between the surgicals and the Cabal therapies, it is a nice level of confidence that you can have that you can win in certain situations. So, and I think that also surgical was a pretty reasonable on lightning bolt there. Yeah, they only did have the 2 lightning bolts, but I do think there's a significant chance there could have been another lightning bolt, and that is a card I would have very much liked to have gotten rid of from them. So, all right, on to the next. All right, I'm on the draw for the 4th match. This is a totally reasonable hand. I do have to find Cephalid, and one of the things that stinks also about this version of the deck is like when you're missing Cephalid and not, well, like when you have a Shuko or Nomads and you're missing the other half, there were 8 pieces you could find. So the redundancy is no longer there. I'll keep. My opponent will go turn 1 Chalice, I just know. Bayou. Okay. Well, that's a nice thing to start with there. No clue what my opponent is up to. They could just fatal push this, but no play. Boseiju, could be like Pox. Abrupt Decay, sweet. Another cantrip. There's nothing I'm really looking to put back. So I'm just going to start with Ponder. Yeah, that's sweet. There we go. So that was a turn where I was pretty proud of my sequencing. It was easy to go like Brainstorm, Fetch Land. But, you know, if you really don't have anything you want to put back, like, it's best to save the Brainstorm, especially in Breakfast where there are cards that really must be in your deck. And that is more true than ever with Nadu being absent. Smallpox. Yeah, that's fine. So I'll discard a Ponder and sack Urza Saga. And I'll just play another Saga. Saga is super fragile, so it's definitely a card I am happy to lose to, say, another Smallpox if they have it, or a Wasteland or something like that. Numidian Hatchery, sure. Grist. Yeah, it's pretty good. Ooh, they milled an insect. What did they mill? Another Grist. Cool mode of Grist is if you mill an insect, you get an additional 1/1. My opponent says, oh my. Now I do like brainstorming. I don't think constructs are going to be good against this Grist board. And if I get Cephalid, I can just win the game here. All right, well, very obvious what cards to put back. And this gives me a good chance to... I was going to say Surveil the Narcomoeba, but then I just draw a Dread Return. So, can't have that. I'll go Tundra and cast Ponder. Just want to see Cephalid. No Cephalid. I'll shuffle. Okay, Brainstorm's not bad. And you see, this is where I'm just really missing Nadu. Like, I'm just digging and digging for a combo piece, and if there were 8 of them in my deck, it would have been a lot easier. All right, looks like Hogak is a card in hand. Oh no, they have Hogak in their graveyard. Well, I can plow the Hogak. Again, constructs don't look great here. Not going for Hogak. All right, you have a Hogak and a Smallpox. Yeah. Do I just sack the Saga? No, I think I sack. I'll discard Archive. And they have no cards in hand. Yeah, I'll sack the Saga. It's fine. Maybe I can just draw Cephalid. Oh, I need to do that more often. That always works out. Well, I guess that's the nice benefit of playing a combo deck is you can just steal some games. I'll get Underground Sea. I mean, they can see my whole deck here if they want, but this will make them think that maybe I have more black going on than I do. Well, opponent, you got to make another insect. It's only fair. And they're hellbent, so don't need to waste time with, okay, let's scoop it up here. Yeah. All right. Pox. This feels like a rough one. First thing I like is Force of Negation. Probably want extra swords. Serenity. Surgical. Artifacts. This is another one where I really miss Nadu because I could just board out of the entire Cephalid combo. And I think I intend to do that here anyway. It's really clean to do it just like that, except I still have like these bad... So like what can I do instead of Nomads? I could bring in Fluster. Don't think Lavinia is that good. I guess it keeps Hogak off the table. Consign. Chant pretty bad if I'm not on combo, so I'll get another Consign. Yeah, this is like pretty transformational of a plan here, but yeah, I guess this will do. I want to just flip Tamiyo quickly. Give it a try. And the Shukos are still nice because they have some text and they can, you know, be gotten off of Urza Saga and make constructs big, so we'll see how this goes. Yeah. Functional hand of magic cards. Against Pox, you keep those. Yep. Probably take Brainstorm if I had to guess. Take the Swords, eh? Play the Misty. They could have Bowmaster. Alright, well, this feels like the world's most obvious Bowmaster. I guess I'll continue to port them then. And this really is like a pre-modern play where you port City of Brass because yeah, they don't even want to take the life. Okay. I have land drops to make, so I'm going to make them. I like Saga. They could drop the Bowmaster now. I'll just force it. Just force. Because I do want that Saga. But that was wise of them to go for it there when I had topped a card. So if I wanted to brainstorm, I would have to shuffle. Sinkhole. Yeah, you got it. Still holding up Bowmaster. Alright, so a cool play I have access to here is I can fetch. I could also just play Tundra. Brainstorm. I definitely want to get rid of this Consign. They fetch in response to my Brainstorm, my Surgical Bowmaster. Okay. That didn't happen. I don't know how likely it is that Stoneforge will survive here, but since I already have Shuko, I can definitely get Cauldra. And it's still vaguely a 2-for-1 if they kill my Stoneforge, because if I get a Brainstorm, I could turn that Cauldra into something else. If they go for a Bowmaster here, I'll say kudos to them. Abrupt Decay, sure. Because they did know about the Surgical, so like they knew that they couldn't go for it, so if they had recognized that and chose to do that on end step, then that'd be good. I would love for them to wasteland my Tundra or otherwise blow some sort of land destruction right now. Awesome. Honestly, they're probably better off wastelanding their hatchery so they have a clock. Come on, fire it off. I could have Teferi. Okay, looks like they're just gonna hit their own thing, if I'm reading correctly what's happening. Okay, they're hitting my Tundra. I like that. Is this Witherbloom command? All surgical. Ooh, life from the loam. I think I have to let them have the wasteland, and I have to surgical the loam. Unfortunate. Well, remember when I said that Cauldron could be a card for Brainstorm to put back? Or not. Well, I guess still so, yes, because I can... So I'll just put back these artifacts. I'll play Stoneforge. I'll reassemble Cauldron. Surgical their loam. I guess I could have done this first, but I just don't really have any other plays available to me. So Witherbloom command will not get to kill my Stoneforge. Now I will say, if you play Magic Online and want to play this new post-ban breakfast, there's so many more opportunities for misclicks, like activating Stoneforge, clicking OK instead of clicking the artifact, or like surgical and not clicking every single copy. All right, once upon a time, I really doubt this is going to be able to find something that can take me off of Cauldron. Really hope they wasteland the Underground Sea, keeping me off of Teferi or something. I mean, now I actually do have a 2-blue spell that's worthwhile. So, Ghost Quarter. It's pretty good. I have basics, though. They're probably going to Ghost Quarter their own land here, if I had to guess. That was smart. And they still have the wasteland, so I can't play out Saga. So their hand is Command White Source. Yes, let's go. My last white source, my goodness. I think Calder is going to deliver me a win, though, here. I don't think this Witherbloom command is going to do much for them. If they have some sort of edict effect, I have Stoneforge, and this indestructible trample thing is pretty good against the hatchery, so. Plus, they're facing down lethal at the moment. They've done enough damage to themselves. Okay, Witherbloom. So they are milling and then draining. So they could get by Wasteland or, yeah, Ghost Quarter, sure. Okay. Not afraid of a bunch of 1/1s. Sword's pretty nice as well, in case they get like Hogak or something. Hold back the Stoneforge, hold back the Saga. Okay, so they're going to go to 1. Interesting. Maybe they don't realize the Cauldron has trample. Okay, GG's. Getting it in the chat. Though we still continue to play the game. So, don't know what to read about that. Okay, another land. I guess I play that out. So, I just attack with both of these. They have to send 5 at the Cauldron. Stoneforge is lethal. Maybe they're just hoping I don't see it. Sweet. Yeah, they were just hoping I wouldn't see the line. Cool. And they die to their own hatchery. Good games. All right, I'm on the draw against known combo player, L1. Force of Will is pretty much an auto keep against them. Stoneforge can assemble the Shuko, though that's very slow. Ancient Tomb, Defense Grid. I have the answer to Defense Grid. I think I just have to let this go. And if they got me next turn, then so be it. I'll cast Ponder. This will be good in the event that I get to have another turn. Sure. Pretty scared of what happens here, but yeah, I would have forced that if I didn't have the prismatic ending. I should have forced it though, knowing that I was going to ponder into another force. Kind of a pity. All right, sweet. What is this? Lindblom. All right, well, I definitely don't want to draw Dread Return. So I think I can afford to fetch an Underground Sea here. Pretty cool. And get rid of this guy. And this could just be double Force of Will, play Stoneblade. Or it could be Hope Force of Will gets me there. Artist Talent. If you do discard a card. I think this is fine, though kind of risky. Okay. Immediately discarded Echo of Eons. Oh, sweet. What a good top deck. Well, that worked out very well. And they scoop it up, yeah. I liked my position there, even if I didn't draw that. I could have gone with the Stoneforge, but then it would be pretty tempting to like go for Caldra. I probably would have gone for Shuko, knowing I could have ended the game the next turn. And if it took me off double Force of Will, like, so be it. I think the most likely situation here was maybe I should have forced the Artist Talent. It feels like a bad card to force, but it is quite the engine, so. All right. Consigns, great. All the blue cards, great. Surgical, possibly. Lavinia, good. Tameo, probably slow. Swords, pretty bad. Orum's Chant, amazing. I can cut up planes. It could just be Stoneblade cards, maybe have Serenity in the deck. I definitely don't think I want to board out of my combo. Yeah, the Stoneblade package is probably just slow here. And I do want Prismatic Ending because they do have a lot of permanents that I want to get rid of. So this seems fine. I'll play it like this. All right. Yeah, keep this. Okay, opponent is playing things out turn 1. Defense grid. Yeah, I'll force the defense grid this time because I do have interaction. And I'll pitch the Brainstorm. And I'll just go Marsh Flats Go, pending the draw step. All right, another force. This is that Spider-Punk card. Those spiders you control have Riot. Spells and abilities can't be countered. So I guess I have to force this. And I'm going to Surveil now so that I have a sense of like what it is I want to do. Brainstorm is good. I think it's going to be pitch. I'll pitch the Ponder. I might really regret that. LED. Yeah, got the Echo right now. Looks like it. I'll get to Surgical something for free, so I'll Surgical Lion's Eye Diamond. Gives me a chance to look at this deck. It looks pretty mono red. Yeah, Rite of Flame, Gamble, Lindblum, cool card. Burning Wish. So there's one more Echo. Urza Saga, pretty good. Okay. I think the LED was pretty important. So even though this is going to resolve, that felt like a pretty good exchange. And I had to force the defense grid. I had to force the Spider-Punk. Kraza, the Swarm is one. What a disaster the Spider-Man set was. Just terrible cards overall. Terrible Magic Online, like not having the correct names because of some contract thing. Just terrible. Sort of embarrassing for Wizards, I would say. But at least I think as Eternal players, if things don't really impact the Eternal formats that much, we're always kind of happy with that. So this is literally the only card I've seen played against me. I know some Painter players are also on the card Steel Wrecking Ball, but kind of glad that that set has just dodged Legacy overall. And I'll add onto that, to be honest, I'm kind of glad that for online players, like, the Spider-Punk card is so cheesy. I had an opponent in Eternal Weekend just be like, I feel so stupid playing this card when they played it. So maybe it's better to have Kraza. The Swarm is one. Kraza. So my opponent is definitely having some sort of connection issues, but looks like in the nick of time, they are back. Wow, what a hand. Yeah, see, I don't even mind Echo of Eons when I can win the game on such low resources. Just really don't want to have to double force this turn. I could just force this right now and try to end the turn. Kind of like that, actually. Because if this stops things for them, and I suspect it will, and that gets me another turn, I can drop the Cephalid. Or if I don't draw a blue card, then I probably won't drop the Cephalid. And the reason why I wanted to end the turn there is, I don't know, this deck just gets nutty and out of hand. Okay. So I'll play Nomads. Really big question is whether to play Shuko or not, or hold this as a Surveil. And I think I'm going to hold it as a Surveil. I really doubt they have removal for Nomads. But having thought about that longer then, it probably should have been Shuko. So if you got me this turn, you got me. If it's another Echo, it's fine. Yeah, I'm not going to pitch my Cephalid to a defense grid. Or to counter defense grid when I have no other counter spells. So this is where I just have to say, if you got me, you got me. I'm going for it next turn. Okay, Artist Talent, seems good. Do you have a 0-drop? You do. They're going to have to high roll this pretty hard, though. Lotus Petal. Okay. So they have to have, like, another 0-drop. Okay, they're passing, so they're dead here. I just have to surveil. I'll keep any card on top that's not, like, Dread Return. Thassa's Oracle, something like that. Yeah, so that's good. That's even a blue card. If it somehow came to that. But it shouldn't, because there's a defense grid in play. So, here we go. Yeah, I always kind of feel favored against the all-in combo decks. That was true when Nadu was legal, and true after Nadu has left, because it's just so good to be a combo deck that has Force of Will and has access to a fair game plan. So the only thing I'm worried about here actually is Fairy Macabre. So I actually should be mindful of how I do this. Okay, well, now it doesn't matter. At this point, it would just be to know that I'm not dying immediately. So there's the Dread Return. So actually, I think the thing to do here is Dread Return for Thassa's Oracle, now sacking the Narcomoebas. This is another line that you can do better with this deck, and now I can mill out the rest of my deck now that Oracle is in there. Because if they had Macabre, I could have just known to stop there. So no response here, and that should win the game. Yeah, good game. All right, well, a 4-1, only losing to the Mirror. So I will say that league felt pretty good. There were many, many spots where I missed Nadu, but Cephalid Breakfast is definitely something you can still do. It's definitely a deck that still has a lot of game, and I enjoyed myself there. I had a lot of fun playing those matches, and Stoneforge Mystic had its spots. It was good. I do wonder if there are ways to better optimize this deck, like maybe Voice of Victory instead of Auram's Chant as a card that has the same effect. You invest the mana on an earlier turn, sort of like Defense Grid, but also like could be the thing that eats a removal spell. I would probably be interested in tweaking that and trying Voice of Victory over Auram's Chant. The sideboard seems really good. Yeah, just overall, that was a good experience. Voice of Victory also plays really well with Cabal Therapy. And I do wonder if there's a way to like build a deck that has a little bit more access to discard. I think that that is a really nice way to proactively clear the way for the combo. And if you're already on Esper mana, then maybe that could be supported. I just don't know what the cuts would be. Like maybe you could cut a bunch of removal for like Thoughtseizes. But then if you have like 4 Thoughtseize, you probably want like basic Swamp as well. And so that starts to get a little dicey with the mana. So I could see something like that being worth a try, but it's hard to mess with success. This was definitely like a really strong seeming deck. And hopefully without Dimir Reanimator, without all the other Nadu decks, maybe there's just enough of a slowdown of the format to where Breakfast can still be decently positioned. I can't say this felt as strong as playing Nadu Breakfast, but you know, it was a pretty clean league, so I can't complain too hard about that. So going forward, you can definitely expect Breakfast content to continue if that's what you enjoy, if that's what you are always flocking to my channel for, and I really thank you for that. But I still want to explore some different stuff too. Some people in my Nadu ban video put some really good comments about other lists to try, other archetypes to try. And I'm just searching for that Nadu Breakfast feel, however I can find it. So to that end, I will certainly be showing off some different stuff on the channel, but I'll always try to do stuff that I think I can play well. There's enough people who already make content on just whatever, and you know, it doesn't matter if they play it well or not. I definitely want to showcase decks that I can really do well on, and so it'll be a little more limited in that respect. But anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.